So I read those 7 verses. And of course, you're accustomed to hearing that Jesus washed the disciples' feet on that night as an example for us to humbly wash one another's feet. In fact, I look back and in 21 years, I've been in this passage 7 times in 21 years, and nearly all of those times, that's been the application that we drew out of it, and that is that Jesus washed his disciples' feet as an example, and we should wash one another's feet. And as it turns out, that's an application, but it's not the primary thing Jesus was doing. And that's what I want you to grasp. Because what Jesus was primarily doing was he was laying down his life. So, phenomenal, mind-boggling realities are swirling around Jesus. I read those to you. I just want you to get them again. Verse 1, he knew that his time had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. I mean, what kind of awareness does it take for you to know, I'm not a man, I am God in flesh, and I'm about to go back to the heavenly realm. Verse 3, Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God. Jesus had an awareness of his own majesty, his own divine majesty in that moment. He was fully conscious that he was from heaven, that he himself was the second person of the Trinity, the second person of the Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. He was fully conscious that after the cross and the tomb, he would ascend again and reign over the universe. And he's fully conscious that he possessed limitless power and authority over time and space and matter. And with all of that consciousness, what does he do? Verse 4, he got up from supper. He laid aside his outer garment. He took a towel and girded himself. He poured water in a basin, and he began to wash his disciples' feet. I want you to do this, to stir your affection for who Christ is. I want you to focus on, look at how he laid down his life. And let's do that by I want us to just follow the action. Just follow the action in our imagination. And then we're going to follow it again. And then we're going to move to the second insight. So just follow the action. Would you do this in your imagination? Like engage and begin to paint this in your own imagination. Paint Jesus rising up from the supper. See him laying aside his outer garment. Watch him take on the towel and wrap it around him. See him pour water in a basin. Now watch him get down on his knees with that basin and begin to wash the dirty feet of these 12 men. And then verse 12, he puts back on his outer garment and he sits back down. Now, do you know the insight you need about that? It's what Jesus said immediately after that in verse 7 when he said to them, what I do, you do not realize. What I've done to you, what I do, you do not realize, but you'll understand hereafter. What Jesus said, look, wait a second. What Jesus just said to the guys in the room is you actually don't understand what I've just done to you. And most of us miss it too. I mean, on the surface, he was washing their feet and he was giving us an example to follow. That principle is there. Yes, it's there. There it is. Don't think I'm not saying that it's there. But this is what we fail to see. He was doing something so much even more significant, and that is he was showing us how he was pouring his life out for us. He was showing us his whole life and existence and purpose right before their eyes. That as God, Jesus as God, the most majestic being in existence, he's laying it all aside and he's laying his life down for us in a self-giving love that I can't even begin to grasp.